Again, it was great being back at the Rock in front of a sold-out crowd. Again, the energy that our students and fans bring is second to none. It makes a huge impact on our program, gives us a chance to win week in and week out. Our number one goal was to win, and we accomplished that. But we wanted to have +2 in the turnover battle. That wasn't accomplished, and we didn't control the clock as well as we wanted to. Offensively, we didn't handle pressure up front as well as we needed to. We didn't block as well on the perimeter. That was one of our keys going into it, to block well on the perimeter. We had 4 drop passes, and we didn't play well in the middle 8. But we started fast, and we finished strong, which was a positive sign for us. Defensively, we didn't stop the run. They had 183 yards rushing, and one of those rushes was 80 yards on one play. You take that out of the equation, and it did okay. And we didn't create the turnovers like I mentioned earlier, and we didn't eliminate the explosive plays. On special teams, I thought Michael Hughes hit the ball very well, which we expect him to do that. And then we have to use more of our team speed out there on kickoff and punt to make a big impact on the game. So a lot to learn from this week, last week, to get ready to play Clemson. It's going to be a tough challenge, one we look forward to. Again, I have a lot of respect for Coach Sweeney and what he does in his program. You look over the years he's been there, and they've competed for championships year in and year out. We have a lot of respect for them, and again, we have to play our very best to have a chance to win on Saturday.
David Ware, 24/7 Sports. Shawn, kind of piggybacking off your commentary about turnovers, you weren't able to turn them over, but it felt like relative to King at quarterback, you got a lot of pressure. You guys got him moving. You made him uncomfortable. He certainly had what I would classify as an inaccurate day throwing the ball. Were you pretty pleased that even though the turnovers didn't come, you put him in some situations that made him inefficient throwing the ball?
Yeah, we did. I thought we played well up from the defensive line in our outside linebacker position. I think we got 2 or 3 sacks. I think we could have had 7 if we had our eyes open and got to him. But again, we did. We had to apply more pressure with a 4-man rush. But again, I think it speaks to what we've done with Coach McDaniel. We rotated a lot of players there. I think we played 7 or 8 on the defensive line, which will help us in the future. So again, a good job, not great. We expect more from that unit, and again, we'll get that fixed this week as we go on.
Understanding that you're always going to pay special attention to offensive line, and you mentioned a couple of things in your opening address there. Given that you've got so many new guys up front, how long do you feel like is reasonable for it to take for there to be some chemistry there, for those guys to learn how to work together and maybe, kind of create more of a symbiotic working relationship, given that was their first true game speed action?
Yeah, that's a true statement. It takes a while for 5 players to work as one, and there were several times throughout the game that 4 did it just right and 1 didn't, and that creates negative plays. So we don't have time to. I wish we could say it's like 4 or 5 weeks before that happens. We don't have time for that. But again, I like the way the effort they played. They played hard. Again, some of the mistakes they made were, I would call them eye violations, not having your eyes in the right gap, and some technical issues. It wasn't an effort. We just got to get some things cleaned up as far as their technique goes. And again, this week presents a huge challenge for us up front. You watched the Georgia game this past Saturday when Clemson played Georgia. Their front 4 are some of the best we've played since I've been here as a position coach or head coach. I mean, they have 4 first-round draft picks, and they bring in the second unit. There's not much drop-off. So we have to get a lot of work done in a hurry, and we'll start that tomorrow.
That was also your first experience in a true game setting with the helmet comm system. Any feedback that came from that? Went well, didn't go well? It seemed like I saw maybe some signaling was taking place simultaneously during the game as well. What was kind of the general assessment of how it went the first time through?
I think it was smooth for the first time through. We've learned some things that on our own part that we can do better. And you talk about the technological part of the football game. Now you have iPads, you have helmet communication with your quarterback. It happens a lot faster than what you think. By the time the ball is set and the ball is ready for play, the clock's down to 20 seconds and it cuts off at 15 seconds. So it wasn't that big of an impact. We were able to talk early to Joey and guys on defense, and it helps for sure. But again, our kids have to go out and still play, and they have to be able to execute. So we're not going to make a bigger deal than what it is, but we'll continue to work on that.
last question for me. How did you guys come out of the game health-wise? I noticed Garner Langlow was in at right tackle towards the end of the game. I didn't notice anyone else seeming significantly injured. What was the health report?
We came out healthy, and that was good to see. We wanted to get Garner some right tackle reps throughout the game, and the opportunity presented itself. And again, you'll probably see more of that going forward. We want to play 7 or 8 offensive linemen. Some guys that got in late did show some good signs of being able to play for us in the future. But that was just when we want to get some Schrader series off and get Gardner in there at right tackle.
Marvin Parker with WLOS Asheville. More than 5 people got the touches rushing the ball. More than 5 people got catches, and it seems like north of 20 had tackles. Is that number variety something you strive for? Was it just something for week 1, or how do you carry that from week 1 to week 2?
We want to make sure we have play a lot of players, and we did. That was one of our goals to go into the game, to make sure we played several players, because we have a lot of playmakers on our football team. And then, defensively, I think we played 33 total, I believe, in the game, which is going to help us in the future. Some guys we weren't expecting to do as well as they did really made some plays out there. And on offense, you mentioned, we have 6 receivers can play anywhere in our conference, and we have 4 running backs. So there's different packages we have for different players to go in and to make an immediate impact for us. And by doing that, your players know when their number is called what their play is going to be. So we'll continue to play a lot of players. I think that's going to boast for us in the future because, again, we have a long season ahead of us, and we want to make sure that those guys are ready to play and have an immediate impact.
If I was correct with the box score, 0 points allowed in the first quarter, 0 points allowed in the fourth quarter, just the message of what you gave your team to open and close on the strongest note possible.
Well, that was one of our keys, to go ahead and start fast and finish strong. And if you look back through history, that's been our Achilles heel in some ways. The second and third quarter, we've always started fast, and we've always finished strong, but we have to find a way to play better in the middle. And that's what we talk about all the time, the middle 8. That's the last 4 minutes of the first half and the first 4 of the second half. And whenever we win that battle, those 8 minutes, we've been very successful here. So we went back and addressed it, how we do things at halftime. It's something we can do different. But we have adjusted with our team and our coaches, and we hope to improve on that this week.
Every game is just one game, but sometimes some games are different. I know last week, or the month leading into it, Clemson kind of prepped for a loud atmosphere, especially head comp communication. Are you guys doing anything to prepare for maybe the noise of Death Valley and just playing Clemson?
No, it's going to be a hostile environment. It's, again, one of the best environments of all college football, and they have a very passionate fan base like ours. We've been in these situations before, and so the moment won't be too big for our players. But we will have things throughout practice. We practice with crowd noise and to make sure we've checked all the boxes. But again, it's just we're excited to go and play down there. Again, I say it all the time, this is a place you dream about playing, and our kids will be ready to play for it Saturday.
And then just maybe it's something really special for the fans of the region. You have App, you have Clemson, a lot of crossover in alumni and community. Just how important this is for the upstate of South Carolina, Western North Carolina, and just this region of the country.
No, it's great to play teams that you can drive within driving distance. It'll take us, I think, 3.5 hours to get down there. When I was an assistant coach here with Coach Satterfield, we'd visit with Clemson every year throughout the spring and share some ideas. And but again, it's just an exciting time for our program. And this game's not going to be bigger than the ETSU game. We have a job at hand, and we have to prepare our very best to have a chance to win. So again, our kids are excited, our coaches are excited, and our kids will be ready to play on Saturday.
David Rogers, High Country Sports. App State has a sort of a history of being the giant killer in Division I football. How do you think the reputation has evolved over the last few years? With you've had performances against Penn State, Tennessee. Can you surprise anybody anymore?
No, people say we're the giant killers. We expect to win big games, and so that I guess the secret's out that we play well in big games. But again, it's you watch the tape and they have a very good football team. They just happen to play one of the best in the country on Saturday, and you look at it with 6-0 at halftime, and the game score is what it is, but they gave Georgia all they wanted for 3 quarters. So we know the offensive coordinator there, Garrett Riley. He was here as a running back coach. He's one of the best offensive minds in all of college football, and he runs a unique offense, and it's hard to defend. And then their defense, they bring blitzes from everywhere. So again, I think the secret's not there anymore. We're going to go play football. And it's the next game on our schedule. It just happens to be one of the best in the country right now.
Matt President, App State Athletics. Coach, week 1 to have 36,000 plus fans at Kid Brewer Stadium against an FCS opponent, especially considering the threat of weather early in the afternoon. What was it like on the sideline, and how much do you just appreciate playing in front of an atmosphere like that?
Yeah, I always want to thank our fans. You go back to after the games, the first thing I did was thank our fans and our students. It's one of the best atmospheres in all of college football. Again, I think it was the 3rd largest crowd in App State history, if I'm not mistaken. I could be off a number or two, but and there was inclement weather throughout the whole region. We went to pregame mill and the thunderstorms, the heavy rain, and our fans were out there for the Mountaineer Walk. And I think that just goes to show you how strong our brand is right now. The A, people recognize the A and what App State means. So again, we can't thank the fans enough. Our student section is electric, and we look forward to a lot more games like this year in the Rock.
You mentioned a little bit about Clemson, but as you go back and watch their week 1 game and perhaps look back to previous seasons, what impresses you the most about them, and what challenges do they present?
What impresses me is everything. And you look at the size, the speed they have. There's a reason why they've won national championships. There's a reason why they win ACC championships, because they do the right things all the time. And they play the game the right way. They strap it on and say, let's go. So you look at the size, their speed, their scheme. You can all put it in a box and shake it up, and there's going to be something positive about Clemson. So, again, it's going to be a tough challenge, but one we look forward to. And we travel well these games. It's an 8 o'clock game on the ACC network, and a chance to put our program on the national stage.
I imagine, obviously, you're looking at Georgia tape, but does it maybe hinder your preparation at all and have you go into last year, the fact that Georgia only allowed 3 and you maybe couldn't see everything that Clemson was trying to do?
Yeah, we do a 4-game breakdown on our first 4 opponents throughout the summer, so we're able to put that into our breakdowns and then in the Georgia game as well. But again, they play in a great conference in the ACC. We went back and watched their bowl game and then the Georgia game. So, and it's they're good. So what else can you say? And but it's a challenge we look forward to, and again, we want to make sure we make App State proud this weekend.
Last one from me. Coach, you talk about the constant rotation, especially on the defensive line, trying to keep guys fresh, get guys in and out. If you could just talk through the mechanics of the substitution patterns and making sure that everyone knows their assignment and who's coming in and who's coming out on any given play.
Yeah, Coach McDaniel wanted to, we have our pregame meeting on Thursday, and that was part of it. He wanted to rotate, every 6th or 7th play. And a lot of that dictates on with the offense substitutes, because if the offense doesn't substitute, then it's hard for you to substitute without getting the penalty. So every time they would substitute, we would try to sub and try to get 3 new D linemen in there. Sometimes we couldn't, so some of them got 9, 10 plays in a row, which that's hard if you're playing your very best to go 10 plays in a row. But and that was intentional from the staff, from the defensive staff, from myself, to make sure we get plenty of guys game reps, because we'll need it this weekend. It's going to be a hot day again in Clemson, and we'll need to rotate many players to have a chance.
Anybody else?
Good. Thank you. Go out.